Model 2210 tube bending machine, and this machine is designed primarily for serpentine bending. It's a 440 volt unit, electrical driven, hydraulic powered. It's got 2 palm buttons for the bending cycle. So to make an automatic bend cycle, you use these 2 palm buttons. To make a manual bend, these are the 2 buttons on the control panel. The top one is the bend cycle. The bottom one is the tooling cycle, which is a clamp that moves in and out. This one here will rotate the bend die around the tube to make the bend. This is all the hydraulic power supply, solenoid valves. It's got 2 solenoid valves. There's the relief valve. All of these things will be explained in the service manual. And there is also, see if I can get a good shot of it here, that socket head cap screw, or the Allen screw with that nut on it, that is a sequence valve, and that's used to put counterbalance pressure on the chains to keep the chains tight while bending. Got plenty of oil for the reservoir. Here's the oil fill. Here's the pump. When you wire it up, just be sure that your motor is turning in the direction of that arrow. There's the 2 bending cylinders. There's the filter, and there's the oil fill cap. These are the proximity switches here that control the bend. This one right here is the control for the 180-degree bend. This one here is the return and stops and repositions itself. This is the clamping mechanism. This is the rotating bend die, and there in the middle there you see the radius bend die. This clamp mechanism has been set up so that it's got a half of a screw there, so that you can just turn it a couple of times, pull it off, retract it, get the tube out. We'll go through this here very shortly. Now we're looking at the clamping die, the radius die, and the bend die. Back over here, this shield right here, it's just a safety shield because the lower cylinder wipes around and comes out, extrudes out beyond the plate. If you ever need to do any service on it, on each corner there's a 1/2-inch socket head cap screw. You remove those, you can lift it off the table and service the underneath part of the machine. This video is meant just more for training purposes than anything else. We'll be running some parts here shortly so you get an idea of how the machine operates. These 2 gauges right here on the cylinders are for reading the sequence valve pressure or counterbalance pressure to keep the chains tight during the bending operation. This gauge right here on the pump, that is the system pressure you're actually using to make your bending cycle. What we're looking at here is this is a pressure sensing valve. And what that does is there's a micro switch inside there, and when the rotating die, bend die, makes contact with the radius bend die, when a certain amount of pressure is reached, it tells the cylinder to advance, or the chains to start rotating the bend die around the radius die. It's a pressure sensing valve. And that there's a relief valve cartridge. This relief valve simply sets the pressure throughout the whole system. We're going to go through a little exercise here so that you can see how to remove the tube from the clamp, or I'm sorry, the clamp from the tube. So he'll loosen the screw handle first. It just pops right out, sets it to the side there. Then he'll back up the clamp so the tubing can be free, and then he'll loosen the lock nut on the radius bend die, and it slips right off, takes the top part of the bend die off, and we can remove the tube. And then to set up a new tube, he puts the radius die back on, just drops it in place, puts on a screw and gives it a couple of turns. Once we put the tube in there, he closes the clamp die, and then he puts the screw under again, or the handle, and he clamps the die shut. Okay, now we have a tube inside here, and we're going to make a bend. Now he'll depress the two palm buttons. It'll bend right around 180 degrees stop. You released the palm button, didn't you? And here's the bend, 180 degree bend. Now he's going to remove the clamp. Pull the clamp back. And then he'll take the top of the die out. Lift the top die out and pull it out of the machine. There we go. Got it set up for the second bend. He'll go ahead and make the two bends again. Hold the palm buttons down. It'll go ahead and make the bend, 180 degrees stop, come back, stop automatically, that's it. Now he'll go ahead and remove the clamp again. Remove the top die out. By removing that, it's a lot easier to clean because it's 180 degrees, and that's it. Now we have it set up for the third bend. Got it all clamped up and locked. You'll hit the two palm buttons again. Hold it down. It'll just swing around. Make the serpentine bend. Come back. Stop automatically. Okay, here we see the end results. You have to realize that this bend here was made without any stops or any kind of measuring devices, so that we would know exactly where the radiuses fall on the return 180 degree bends. We also don't have any leveling mechanisms because we don't know what the customer is going to do. So basically we're showing here the capability of the machine and the fact that it makes some pretty accurate 180 degree bends. And in a nutshell, that's our model 2210 serpentine bender. Of course, this could be used not just for serpentine bends, but for making different kinds of unique products that require 180 degree bends and multi bends on a single plane. Thank you.